Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another night at the Paranormal Chat, Lost Limits Foundation Radio Network. And look who's over here tonight. That's Mike Couch. You've never met Mike. He hasn't been on here for at least a month. So back tonight playing with his ears. So,
yeah, I'm already having technical difficulties. My AirPods are not working.
You've only had a month to get that figured out.
They're not cooperating. Yeah, they aren't cooperating with me. I'm taking them out real quick, and then I'm going to put them back in. I can still hear you, so I'm good.
Oh, Joey. So I have to watch what I say then. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you guys coming back tonight and join us again. We're going to have, I understand that Corey may not be able to make it, but Jennifer Heinzen is going to be with us to talk about Conjuring House. And I'll just kind of recap real quick of the, just so you guys, everybody's heard about it and they've seen it and everything, but we've got a couple days left for the birthday celebration, basically the fundraising, the charity drive that we're doing. And so far, as of right now, the last I looked, it was at $5,611. And I'll look again right now just to see.
It's climbing.
Yep. It's up a little bit more. It's at 5616 now. Yeah, 5616. It's kind of ironic with those two numbers because that's the year I was born and that's the day I was born. So, and no, not 1916 either. So
I wasn't thinking that. You said it. Not
for
me.
all you smart asses out there that were probably going to come into the comment and say something, so I'll just wipe that out real fast. And, but yeah, it's 5616. So I'll have to update the banner thing there and fix that one. But so it's off a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been a good start. We've got a couple days left. Hopefully we can hit that $6,500 mark. So
yeah, hopefully so. Yeah, it's getting close. It's getting really close.
I haven't talked to you very much lately because it's like
I know. There's still some coughing, and there's still some asthma issues that's going on with the irritation and stuff. But yeah, we haven't talked for a little while now because it's like every time we talk, like especially like the last week or so, I haven't had a voice. I mean, my voice has been gone, and they put me on this really strong antibiotic. It's like I take it and it's just like about an hour later, I'm drooling and just like laying on the bed asleep. So
I'm not going to say anything, but a redhead with the same last name kind of alluded to the fact that wasn't such a bad thing. So,
well, I'm glad that this is better, man. It was crazy. I mean, I could barely talk, and I remember last week I was like, hopefully I can be back on the show. And then last weekend, last week when it was time for the show, I was just like, Robin. And by the way, I hear about you guys making fun of my voice when it was gone.
Oh, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. Your headphones are suddenly
right now. So
yeah, you're suddenly not like able to hear me now. Yeah. But
so Crystal's a rat. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you're back feeling better. And I know the leg,
here.
my leg I can actually walk now on it and all. I've started doing some stuff, start doing some work. So tomorrow I get to unload about 21,000 pounds of building material. So that's another story. And
holy crap.
So that'll be fun.
But, yeah, sounds like a blast.
It'll be fun. Oh, well, I don't mind it.
Sounds like it. So how have you been this last month? I know like you've had some.
Yeah, I've been sitting in a chair for the most part. I was in the hospital from like a Sunday morning until Friday night for about almost a week, just with a leg. One of my legs got infected doing some work. So I sat at the hospital for that long. And that kind of sucked. And then when I got out of the hospital, it wasn't necessarily, it was better, but not right. And I'm still stuck in a chair for about 2 weeks. I was doing laps around the upstairs of the house because I couldn't sit there all day, and I had to get up and move some. So I was trying to do laps and I could just barely walk on it. So it wasn't much fun, but I'm able to get out and do some things now. It's
good.
I will say it's one thing that I'm just dreading that I'm going to have to do. And I hope that I never have to do it, but I'm going to have to break down and do it just so I don't run into this situation again. So it's kind of a sad thing, but it almost brings tears to my eyes. But I bought long pants. It's bad. I'm so used to wearing
How
shorts.
could you?
Because I don't want to spend another $20,000 and up in the hospital for a month. So,
no doubt. Yeah. Well, the good thing is like once you got home, at least you're home. So even though you're stuck being in a chair, it's like it makes it better that at least you're home and you can kind of, watch TV, whatever, you know what I mean? It's better than being stuck in a hospital room.
Yeah. It was easier to work at home too. So I could get some of that stuff done while I was here at home. But yep. So I've got to, I have to wear the long ones out there once in a while now whenever I'm working on stuff just to be safe. And, either that or break out the old hockey shin guards. So I don't mess the legs up. So.
Yeah, definitely take it easy and be careful out there. And, when you have to be out there and stuff that way, then, it looks like there's might be there will be some pictures possibly of you wearing pants. I'm going to see in the comments.
Somebody will be hurt. So. But one thing that before we bring Jennifer on, if you guys are looking to book locations, just give Crystal a call. You can set something up at Rhodes. Not a lot of Saturdays left there, but there are some left, for 2022. And same thing with Ashmore. You can give me a call or email us. Get on our websites, whatever, and talk to us and about booking things for 2022. Because, like I said, they're filling up pretty quick. Not quite as much as what Jennifer is. Those guys, they're booked for 2022 every day. So
craziness.
I'll let her talk about that. But yeah, I'm glad that they actually have that problem and I don't. So it's a good problem to have, but it's like, I just go nuts. So, but we'll talk to her about that. So, but unless you've got something else, let's bring her on and get going with things and talk to her.
Let's do it.
Let me see here. There she is. Hey, oops, that's not what I want to do. Let's see.
There we go.
We'll stay with that one. So, hi, Jennifer. How you doing?
Good. You?
Not too bad. All things considered, so we're both up kicking around anyway.
Yeah. We're moving around, so that's a good sign.
That's good. I didn't know you were in the hospital.
I'm one of those that really don't go out and post that out there and say, hey, I'm in the hospital. Feel sorry for me. I don't get into that. So I kind of kept it quiet. In fact, I get people that, send me emails or send me messages and say, why the hell did you tell me you're in the hospital? Like, what were you going to do? You're 6 hours away. It's like, so,
I get it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that, in fact, my kids didn't even know about it. In fact, one of my kids called me and said, what's wrong with your heart? I'm like, not that I know of. He's like, well, you're in the hospital. I'm like, oh no, it was my leg, a little ways from my heart. So,
my goodness.
I think my ex called him and said, your dad's in the hospital with a heart problem. It's like, how the hell did she know? Because I don't even talk to her. So, but it's kind of like stirring the pot. So,
I get like this text message. It's like, you might have to do the show by yourself this coming week that's coming up. Like, back when it happened, I'm just like, what? So like, look at, and it's like, oh, I'm in the hospital. I'm like, wait, what? What's going on? It's like,
I had it figured out that I could set it up and run it through him up there, but I just wouldn't be able to really talk on it too well.
Right. True. That's crazy.
With nurses running in and out, doctors running in and out. Just like, hey, could you guys just wait there a few minutes? I'm on a radio show.
I could see him doing that. They open the door and he'd be like, no, wait, hold on. Give me a few minutes.
Shoo him away. A few more minutes.
Ask a question. Yeah.
Actually, I did that a couple of years ago. I had a heart ablation, and I told the nurse, I said, could you put a do not disturb sign on my door for like 1 hour? And because I forget who I was talking to, but I had somebody on that night, and she's like, okay. So, so they did that. So they put a do not disturb sign on my door, and everybody stayed out for an hour.
That's pretty funny. That's dedication.
Yeah.
Well, just from the hospital bed at St. John's Hospital in Springfield, Illinois. So,
coming to you live from the hospital bed.
Yeah. So, hopefully live anyway. That's not the place you want to sit there saying, so.
That's funny.
But so Jennifer, the first thing I got to ask you about is like, how did you guys come across the idea of buying the Conjuring House? And if anybody's, let me back up one further. The Conjuring House that you guys have, tell us just a little bit about the Conjuring House itself.
So I heard you say earlier that we were booked completely for 2022. The website does show us as booked, but because we live in the house too, we don't book 7 days a week. So we're booking mostly weekends, and I've had to add a few weekdays just because the demand is so high. So we're booked a lot of the days, but it's not booked for the entire year because we would go insane. We'd lose our minds if we were doing every day. We did that
Oh
for
yeah.
like September and October, and it was hectic. Yeah, but it's crazy. It's fun. It's exciting. It's nothing like the movie. It's not like chairs aren't flying. I mean, doors are opening. Lights are, they mess with the lights all the time. They pull books off from shelves. Nothing like the movie. It's nothing. I don't want to even say scary because that's a weird term to use. It's nothing that feels like it's going to hurt us. It doesn't feel evil or malevolent. It's home. Feels nice.
Yep. I live in, I mean, Mike, we all three live in a location that's haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which is kind of unusual because you're getting three different people talking about living in locations that are haunted. And, hell, I've got a serial killer that lives in my place every once in a while. So so that's, but yeah, and my wife's here by herself a lot of times, just like you're probably there, by yourself quite a bit. And we've never had any issues, and I know Mike's not had any issues. We've had stuff that happens,
right?
But nothing.
But it doesn't
it's
feel
almost
like it wants to hurt
we're
me.
here. So that's what we think too. It's like we're here. Did you notice that we're still here?
Yeah. People are always asking, you're crazy for doing that. And it's like, I would be crazy if I felt like something was going to hurt me. If I sat in a chair and it threw me across the room, I obviously wouldn't live here, but it just doesn't feel that way. It just feels like home.
Yeah, I get people that come in here and they're like, is there anything bad here? And I'm like, no, if there was, you think I'd be living here?
Right.
So Brian Murray says hi to everybody.
Hey, Brian.
Right, so Brian never comes in here except when there's people like you on here.
Aw, I love Brian.
You got to give him a hard time. If he didn't, he'd
Gotta
say
keep
Brian
him in
wasn't
line.
Yeah, Brian. Corey's not here, Brian. But sorry. So he said hi, Corey. But yeah, he's not here. So
yeah. Aww.
But so how did you guys come up with the idea to buy the Conjuring House originally?
So we've been in paranormal for a really long time. So Corey was on a paranormal Facebook page. In Maine, we always get up super early in the morning. The dogs are always waking us up. So normally we took the dogs for a walk up like the street, like 4:00 in the morning. So when he came home from the walk, he was on Facebook, and somebody had randomly posted in a Facebook page, in a paranormal page, that the owner of the Conjuring House, they thought, was looking to sell it. So she just wanted to sell it off the market. She didn't want it to be crazy, which I can see why, but we just knew some people in Rhode Island, and Corey made a few phone calls, and it just happened from there. Like, it just all seemed to kind of fall into place. It was crazy. Like, every step of the way, we just never thought it would happen. And you try not to get excited because you just, think it's never going to happen. And then all of a sudden we have the keys and we drop the stuff off at the house and we go watch Toy Story 4.
That's kind of the way I was with Ashmore. I bought that and I had it all worked out, the whole deal worked out. And you're like, this hasn't happened yet. You go to the attorney's office and you're just like, oh, still hasn't happened yet. And you sign the papers and then they sign the papers. And you're like, it's done. Finally, and you walk away. And then you kind of, as in my situation, I pretty much told the former owners where they could go as we walked out the door because they were so pained to work with. And with Rhodes Hotel, when I worked out the deal with Gail Sanchez to buy that for the charity, it was the same thing. It was kind of like, okay, it's going to happen, and kind of sign some paperwork, but then that wasn't really the actual paperwork. And then Mike signed it a few weeks later and everything happened. So it was like, wow, it's done. It's like, it really did happen.
Yeah.
It was kind of quiet here, with things. Cause we actually kind of shifted things over prior to taking over officially. So it was kind of quiet there at first, and we were just kind of running things kind of quietly there. And like Robin said, we kind of signed everything over, and then a few weeks or so after that, then we kind of made it official.
Aww. It's exciting though. It's exciting.
How long have you had the Conjuring House now?
June will be 3 years. So it's still, I mean, it's crazy to think that it's been that long, and yet at the same time, a lot of it still feels really new.
Any regrets at all buying it?
Not at all.
Only when you're in September and October and you're not getting any sleep at all.
Right.
And
September and October are definitely the 2 busiest months. Like that, those 2 months are like, we started day tours too. So I think we were dumb enough to do it daily, and it booked up daily. So I think we just overdid it. But the demand's there, and that's what the hard part is like trying to keep up with it. It's a lot.
yeah, it's kind of tough, especially like you said with the demands there, because if you need to keep working that and using that, because you never know when that's going to slow down or come to a stop.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and I mean, buying it, when you bought that, yeah, you're living there, but it's also a business venture as well.
Yeah.
And just like with Mike's living at Rhodes Hotel, and that's a business venture as well there for the charity. And I mean, I live at the theater, but yeah, it's not, we don't really do any investigations here too much anymore, really at all. And but with your situation there, living there and then doing the business stuff, it makes it tough.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't even investigate anymore. We're all investigated out. We're just like, there's not much left that can happen that I don't know. I guess we started the venture thinking that we had a lot of questions, and, we dived right into investigating, thinking we were going to get a ton of answers. And we have more questions than we do have answers. Like it doesn't ever seem like there's an end in sight. It's just always feels like you're either being tricked one way or the other, or you're just left with more questions. It's more doors open, and it's just like, wow, like it's we thought we would have this figured out like Scooby-Doo by now, and it just didn't work that way.
Well, I could bring the mystery machine out there. Maybe we can sit out there and and fool them all into thinking they're out there being investigated by Mystery Inc.
Yeah, that would be fun.
So yeah, I mean it's a crazy ride with living there like you do as well. And do you think that there's many people as you have investigating that and coming in there, do you think people bring their own attachments with them, kind of like drop them off at the Conjuring House?
I do think people bring their own energy to anywhere in general. I don't think it's just our location, but I do feel like people bring their own energy and maybe spirits with them. But I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I think people kind of carry that around with them as it is. I don't feel like anything's ever been left there that, I don't know. I almost feel like people try to, I feel like it's the opposite. People like show up and want to steal spirits. They're just like, okay, I'm going to bring everybody home with me if I can. I just feel like it's kind of the opposite. People,
and living there, gives you a better sense of what's going on more often, and what different things you have happen and stuff. Because like here, and like Robin, I'm sure you notice different things that maybe sometimes people come in might not necessarily have that certain activity when they come in.
Yeah, it's almost like you can feel their energy anyways. Like you can sense when they come through the door and talk about what their expectations are. It's almost like you can feel, it's almost like we've gotten to the point where I can judge how somebody's night's going to be. If somebody's got such high expectations and are demanding, I don't feel like they ever get much. But if you're open to it and you're excited and you're willing to learn, like I feel like the spirits like to interact more with people who are willing to interact with them without being bullied. I don't know. It's weird. It's almost like we've been there for so long. I can tell who's going to have a good night and who's not.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. It seems like when they come out there, and same thing with Ashmore, where they come out there like, oh man, we're gonna knock it dead tonight. We're gonna go out and do this. We're gonna get them to talk to us. I'm like, I'm kind of doubting it, And
Right.
I mean, I tell people just go sit and let the building talk to you.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are just like, I got to go out and do this. I got to make sure we hit every room for 20 minutes and all this. And it's like, sorry guys, but they're not on a stage show. It's not going to happen like that.
Right. It doesn't happen like that.
Now, have you guys had any problems with people investigating out there that you had to like toss them out or anything?
No, we've had a couple people. We've had a few incidences with alcohol. I think that's our biggest thing. Like our stairs are way too steep to have people drink, so it's a no alcohol policy anyways, but we have cameras everywhere so we can see sometimes people are drinking and we have to stop that. Other than that, we had one group that had a girl within her group that was trying to cross over spirits. So we had to put a kibosh to that too, but she was nice about it. We didn't have to kick her out, but yeah, nobody who's actually been there to investigate we've had problems with. Our issues are more people showing up and we've had a few people show up in the middle of the night and just trying to come through the doors to join somebody else's group. Like they're just pretending they're just with their group. And I'm just like, you're not.
Oh, wow. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We've had people, we had this couple one time who parked their car across the street in the neighbor's driveway and tried to say that they bought tickets on Groupon. I'm like, if you bought tickets on Groupon, why are you parking somewhere else and walking in from the road?
Right.
Like that doesn't make any sense. But
Well, and they probably don't realize that you guys live there either.
yeah, I think that is a lot of misconceptions. We've had a lot of people pull up into the yard and go to back out, and Corey will stop them and they'll be like, oh, sorry, we thought it was abandoned. And I think there's a lot of misconception about it's either an abandoned property that nobody ever goes to and people just think they're the first one to have that idea, or they're just hoping nobody's, I don't know what people think sometimes.
That's good. You haven't had a lot of trouble out there.
Yeah, this summer's been really bad. It's gotten a lot better. I think the cold usually helps, but this past summer was really, really bad as far as trespassers, and Corey ended up having to put some like not barbed wire, but some, I forget what he calls it, razor wire along the property because we were having people jump the fence even day or night. So, but it's definitely gotten a lot better.
A little electricity on those fences kind of helps out. That
Yeah, I always thought, I said that would be fun because we have cameras outside towards the road anyway, so we can capture all the videos. It'd be really fun to post it. But
although when I suggested that with the Coles County Sheriff's Department after the last time people broke in our building, they suggested that probably wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, and, I figured eventually we'd get sued, even if there were signs. I'm sure somebody would sue us for it. But
yep. Kristen had a question for you. Not sure how you guys handle that there. I know how we do it, but
when we started, we were not allowing anyone under the age of 18. Since we've been doing it for a little while and we don't feel like anything is going to hurt anyone, we have let under 18 investigate with the parents. Their parent or guardian has to be present in order to sign their waivers and stay with them. But yes, we've allowed under 18.
I've kind of found that sometimes the kids under 18 are better mannered than some of the adults that come in.
Yeah. Sometimes. Is that how you do it? What do you do for?
Same thing you do. I don't have any age restriction at all. As long as they're with their parents. In fact, this girl here was one of the ones that she was at Ashmore when we had there was an adult out there. It was an investigation where the adult was hosting it, and he was running around with a mask scaring people just for the heck of it. And they paid money to be at this investigation. So yeah, with her and her daughter. So they came back and they become friends pretty much because they've been to our place, they've been to Rhodes, they've been to another place I'm involved with. So
nice.
her and her daughter Allie come out quite a bit. So
I agree. I think there's a lot of mature teenagers out there doing this, and it's nice to see.
So, yep. In fact, that's what she said that, girls have been to Ashmore Roads already. Yep. And Cheney Mansion, which is another one that I've kind of been involved with too.
Nice.
So Karen had a question for you as well.
I do feel like they're part of the family now. It's so weird that we walked into the house day one talking to the spirits as if they were there. I mean, I think that's why we've had such good connections with the house that we didn't walk in with any expectations for them. We just asked to share the living space with them, to learn from them. And I just feel like we've been there for so long that I do feel like we're connected to it. It's hard to explain, but yeah, I do.
I've always kind of thought the same thing at Ashmore. I think I've been out there so much because I live 2 hours away, so it's a road trip for me to go out there and do anything. But when I get out there and I work on stuff and all, then I think that they know I'm working on the property and doing stuff and making it better. And when I walk in and do something, they kind of look around probably and like, it's just him. No big deal. And they go back to do whatever they're doing. And I just do what I'm doing.
Yeah, we always ask permission. Like we've done some work on the house here and there, but we always ask permission. And Corey's dad was helping us do some work on the house one time, and he went to nail something, and Corey just gave him a look, and they stopped and stared at each other. He's like, "You didn't tell him what you were doing first." It was just it's just a habit for us that we just don't even. We just always. I don't know. It's funny.
We had something like that happen here at the theater when I had to tear down the back of the building because of a roof malfunction, and the roof was collapsing in the back of our building. So we had to tear the back of it down where our house was not at. And a friend of mine who was a psychic medium was over, and we had all kinds of weird stuff going on when we tore it down. So I said, we need to go investigate because millimeters are going crazy. Everything's going crazy. There's no power in this building. This should not be happening. So they came over, and she walked in the front door, and the first thing she said is like, you need to step back. I'm like, who are you talking to? She said, there's a guy here. I'm like, what's he want? He's like, he's trying to figure out what's going on. He's running. He's asking me 100 questions about what's happening, what they're doing in the building. They teared it down, all this. And she described him. And I said, oh, it sounds like he was one of the former owners. And we kind of figured out that's actually who it was. And he was just pretty much wanting to know, like, what's going on with this building? Are you, because we already tore down the back half of it. And so he wanted to know if they were basically tearing down the rest of it too or not. So, so that situation has calmed down quite a bit now, but we still have our other stuff that pops in every once in a while.
Yeah. It's interesting though. It's that something like that would make a big difference. Like I'm sure I know people look at us like we're crazy, but just something simple like that, we just are so used to doing it.
Have you had like any activity that has, I don't want to say change, like any activity that like maybe you hadn't noticed that was going on like in the beginning when you first took over versus like something that might have kind of changed over time, maybe something different that's happening?
Not really. No, I feel like in the beginning, I feel like personally for me and probably Corey as well, I think we had a lot of interactions ourselves as far as like my hair being messed with or touching my back or touching my arm or just, I feel like in the beginning we had a lot of like physical, like touching interactions, and I don't get that a lot anymore. And I don't know if it's just because they're used to us or if maybe we don't feel it or pay attention to it. But other than that, I don't feel like anything around the house has changed. I don't feel like the energy's changed. I know I can tell when the parents are there, I feel the energy in the house changes. It does get a little more active. And I think even like having Andrea on the phone, like her voice definitely pipes things up. But other than that, it's just that's like a circumstance type thing. In the moment, it's nothing. Like I don't think anything's changed since day one.
Now, Andrea and her family were out there not too long ago, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
How'd that go?
It went really well. Andrea's been there. Andrea's been here a lot. I say a lot. Andrea and Roger have been here the most, but having Nancy there was different. And that was actually my first time. I met her during not last year, in 2019 when Kindred Spirits came. But it was so hectic and we didn't really get a chance to interact with like the whole family. It was just really busy. So having even just Nancy there with Roger and Andrea was it was different. It was really nice. I feel like it was just a lot different. Andrea had a sister that passed away, April, and I almost feel like April was there. It was almost like we got her name a lot over the spirit box, and Andrea, we did a Estes method and Andrea got her name a lot. And I had already, it's almost like it was interesting. Like you feel like more having April there just felt like an extra, I don't know. It was just nice. It was different. It was nice. It was active, I thought. And it was nice, active.
Now, I know when they did Sleepless Unrest out there that they did some investigations on the grounds. Have you had other groups out there that have done some investigating on the grounds itself, just inside the building?
I know in the summertime people do like to go outside and investigate, but nobody has ever done like a full-blown outside investigation like that. Sleepless Unrest did come back in the summertime, I believe in August, and they did a camp out. So they investigated pretty much just outside that night with a lot of, I want to say there was probably 12 investigators with them. those are probably the only time anyone's actually done like a full investigation outside, which is interesting because we think that all of this comes from the land anyways. I think the house is just located in a perfect spot. I don't believe it's the house itself. I believe it's the land and the surrounding area. Even our neighbors have lots of activity going on as well. So it's interesting that nobody's really done a lot more investigating outside than they have.
You'll never talk them into investigating outside. I've done it at Ashmore numerous times. I tell them it's the stuff that's happened out there with different groups that have been there and what's gone on outside. And they're like, "Oh, that's great." We're in the hell down. They just don't want to mess with it. They don't want to do anything outside because it's not cool. They've never seen anybody on TV do a lot of investigating outside. So other than, unless you're looking for Bigfoot, they're like, "Nope, we're just gonna go inside and we don't do the grounds."
We actually had one group that caught I mean, the only way I can describe it is it has to be an alien of some sort in the sky at night. So we do show that video a lot for people who are interested. I mean, that is a way to get you outside because I'm sure there's a lot of stuff in the sky at night that nobody pays attention to because they're always inside. And there's a lot, there's probably, I would say probably 5 or 6 groups outside when they go outside and take like a cigarette break that have seen a light come from the top of the woods over the wood line right to the house or vice versa from the house to the woods. Like there's a lot of light anomalies that people have seen outside. So I try to get people, I mean, there's clearly activity outside. We've had activity outside. I've had a woman stand behind me and say hi as if she was really there, strong enough for her to, it wasn't a whisper, it was a hi. So I turned around and said hi back and she wasn't there. I mean, we've had a lot of activity outside and it's, try to explain that to people thinking that it would get them outside, but it doesn't. You're right, it doesn't always. They want to see stuff, and I think feeling like they're in an enclosed room where they just feel like they'll get more activity. I don't know.
Sure. You have to bring Travis Walton out there sometime and see if they can beam him up again. So.
Yes.
I get this asked a lot here. So I'm going to ask you too. What's probably the most memorable activity, like most memorable incident, whatever that you've had, activity wise there?
I usually call it my most profound experience. When we first moved, the first summer we moved into the house, there's one room in the house where we set up cots and that's where everybody slept. Cause we were a little chicken. You don't know what to expect. We didn't know what to expect. So by the end of the summer, we finally dared to open up the door to this room. And Corey and I slept in the same cot and we laid the cot so that we could see through the doorway. In the middle of the night, I rolled over and he rolled over too because we were in the same cot. And there was a black figure staring at us from the doorway. It was just, you could see it like peeking in from the doorway. I don't remember if he said something or I said something. I think I said it, but he thinks he said it. But one of us said, "Tell me you're seeing this." Because I didn't know he was awake. He didn't know I was awake. And it was gone. It jumped out and it was gone. But it was just a black outline, a silhouette of like, I refer to it as Slender Man. It was just the outline. There was no facial features, no ears, no hair, just the outline of like a black silhouette, long arms, just kind of peeking in, and heard a voice and then it was gone. But to us, it was exciting. We high-fived each other because we both saw it. Sometimes you see these things and your mind processes it. Like, did you really see it? Did you experience it? Like, what can you rule out to make sure? And we both saw it. We were just like, wow, that was really exciting. And the next day we went through everything trying to debunk, to figure out if, it's not much to debunk, I guess, but I mean, we both saw it. It was exciting. It should have been scary, but it really wasn't. Like I always refer to it as a feeling that it gives me. It just doesn't, like, even that didn't feel like it wanted to hurt us. If I felt like it was evil, if I felt like it was staring me down, like it was a horror movie that wanted to throw me, then we wouldn't be living here still. You know what I mean? But it just didn't feel scary. It was exciting.
Yeah, you don't feel as crazy when you have somebody else that validates the same thing that you just saw.
Yeah, and that doesn't always happen. So it was exciting.
Yeah.
No, that's kind of one of those reasons why you never want to investigate by yourself either, just because you never know if that one thing might pop up that two of you might see it, because nobody's going to believe one, but with
Right.
two of them, there's a better
Right.
chance they might think about it.
Right. And sometimes I feel like when you're investigating, it gets a little hectic trying to record everything, like feeling like you have to get everything recorded and validated, where I feel like most of the time your personal experiences, things that happen to you when you're not paying attention, when you're not filming, when you're just like in between chit chatting, those are like the exciting moments when you don't feel pressured to have to find something when you're investigating somewhere. You're just experiencing it. I think that's cool.
Yep. Sometimes just sitting around, you'll experience
Yeah.
more stuff than you do trying to, when you're trying to.
Right.
Now, you mentioned earlier that the Conjuring, the movie The Conjuring, was nothing like with the house, and I ran the same situations there with Ashmore being on Ghost Adventures. Do you have people come in that are like, we want to see this, that just we saw it in the movie, and we want to experience that, and because we have to tell them that's what you saw in the movie was for just for entertainment. That's not going to happen.
Right. Right. Yeah, there are some people. Corey gives a pretty detailed tour, though, and he does like to explain the difference between movie and reality. So when people investigate, when they spend the night, he walks them through the house in each room, and he gives a detailed day tour, but the nighttime he gives a brief overview of like where things actually happen versus what the Hollywood version was, and things that really didn't happen in real life, but they just thought it made a great movie. So, you do have those people who do walk through the door and excited, like, okay, I want to know where the tree is Bathsheba hung herself. It was a movie prop. There really isn't a tree. So,
Now, you and I talked once before about that you were thinking about just living there's kind of it's fun, but at the same time it's kind of a pain with all the investigations. Have you thought anything about maybe building another house on the property there or doing something like that?
we have looked into that. Like I always suggest a garage with a living area above it, kind of like, well, Lizzie Borden's kind of like that. I don't know if they use the bottom as a garage. I think it's a gift shop, but they have at least something on property that looks like a garage with a living space above it. And we live in New England. We do get snow. It would be nice to have a garage to park your cars. So that's
Sure.
what I always suggest. It's just a matter of trying to figure out the land to put it and what it takes. We have never actually looked into the details of it because I feel like that would be pretty far. It's not something we can do right now, but ideally, I think that would be the best living situation because it is hard. Like I'm sure you guys must feel the same way. You're working and living in the same space. It's like you never leave work. You're just always there.
Yeah, that's what my office is actually in the movie theater where we live in. So in fact, I'm sitting in my office now. So I'm usually down here between 6 and 7 in the morning, and then
Yeah.
here to like 5 or 6, and then in the house. But we don't investigate here anymore just because I have too many things laying around that I don't need growing legs and walking away and stuff like that. So
Right.
I stayed away from that. At Ashmore, I know it's tough. When we have investigations out there, like on a 3 or 4 nights in a row, I mean, it makes a long night for people that are out there helping me, that are
Yeah.
staying 3 or 4 nights. It's just kind of long days, and
Yeah.
sleep at night like you normally do, and it throws your schedule off, and it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I always feel the need to have to keep the camera system pulled up next to me, even when I'm trying to sleep, because I want to make sure nobody's trying to break in on the property. So we set up sensors so we can hear if somebody's trying to break in. But it makes it hard. You don't get a full night's sleep. You don't get, it's hard living in it. It really is. It's harder than we thought it would be.
It's a little bit different, like with my situation, because we have the hotel. Like I'm in the dining room now, but like there's an area that we have that was built on, like an addition. It was built onto the back side of the hotel that I actually stay in. So I guess in a sense, I kind of feel like maybe I'm kind of getting out of the hotel
Yeah.
at times, I guess.
You have your own space that you can go to anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We
Now, do you
sort of
guys
have that.
okay, that's what I was gonna ask you. Do you guys have something like that?
There's one room that we spend most of our time in. So we have a TV, we have a couch, we have a bathroom, refrigerator. There is a drawstring that you can pull down and stairs collapse so you can go up into like a loft area. We have a bed on the floor with a small TV in front of it, but it's like most of our clothes are upstairs in the bedroom we used to get to sleep in, but now that people are there a lot, I keep most of the clothes in the loft, but they're in, they're just folded like on a shelf because it's not like a full bedroom. You can only stand up in the middle, but you got the peaks to both sides. So it's not like a real bedroom. It's just a small space, but it is our own space. It just feels tiny. We have the 2 shepherds who I'm allergic to dogs, so us spending all kinds of time in a small room, the shepherds kill me half the time. So I feel like they need to vacuum 6 times a day just so that I'm not sneezing. And of course, COVID, and then you start sneezing, and people are looking at you like, "Okay, what's wrong with you?"
Oh yeah, or coughing like Mike does.
Yeah, I know I'm having to mute myself every now and then. I got this sinus infection, and like I lost my voice, and then like I've got asthma that was irritated from it and everything. It's like I missed a show for I don't know how long. Robin's like, "Oh, hey, I'm glad you're back."
Yeah, I've got asthma now too from being allergic to the dogs for so long and not knowing it, and it's just so I understand it's not fun.
I had somebody mention, it's been a while back, about that he thought that people that owned or ran um, haunted locations seemed like they had health problems eventually or something like that out of it. Do you think there's anything to that?
I do. I really do. Like I feel like people aren't made to be saturated in a place, good or bad, that has that much energy without being able to take a break. Like I can tell because we have a house in Maine and the house in Rhode Island. If Corey's there for too long without a break, I can tell that his whole mood changes. I just feel like you can become saturated in it, and I think it changes your thought process, and it's almost like you until you get out of it for a break, you don't realize how down you felt when you were in it. I don't know. It's weird. I can see it on other people, so I know it must affect me when I'm there too long.
Now, you mean that his mood changes as far as not being good if he's been at the Conjuring House too long?
He's always cranky anyway, so sometimes it is hard to tell. But sometimes he means it and sometimes he's just kidding. So when he gets to the point where he's cranky and he doesn't laugh about it, then I'm like, okay.
It's time to go to Maine.
Yeah, it's time for you to take a break. He got to the point where he wouldn't leave. He doesn't like to leave the house. Like we don't go out in town a whole lot anyways because we were in the beginning. I think we were afraid what people thought of us. I'm sure people like locals were like, okay, these yuppies are going to come in and make it into a circus. And I think in the beginning me more so than him, I was afraid what people would think about us. So it was hard for us to go out in town, and I didn't want anyone to recognize us. I didn't want to, I didn't want anybody to know who we were. But he, I think, uses that as an excuse. And then with COVID, he likes to have everything delivered. So he just doesn't leave the house, but on purpose. Like he'll order food out. I think he's been to Walmart twice this entire year. Like he just doesn't leave the house. He's a hermit anyways. But I think that can definitely affect your mood, I think. Do you guys feel that way where you are?
I'm not so much for myself. I kind of stayed in during a lot last year just because of COVID and having heart problems, but it hasn't really bothered me too much to stay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of one that I have so many things to do anyway, so staying in doesn't bother me. I keep busy.
I haven't really noticed much. I don't know. I think I'm the same goofy self like all the time, I think, whether I'm here. But I have my times too. It's kind of nice when you have, like if there's a weekend or something, like there's an event, something like that going on. It's kind of nice where you just kind of have that and you're just like, oh, I can get away and just kind of get out and
take a fresh breath.
Yeah, exactly. Be gone for a few days and then come back and you're kind of refreshed and yeah.
Corey gets to the point sometimes where he'll play video games for like 12 hours straight, sleep, and then play for another 16 hours. And that's when I'm like, okay, you need to do something. Like you need to get out of the house and like open the shades and yeah.
He needs that garage he can go out and work in.
Yeah, he needs something. Yeah.
Now, you guys, I don't know, it's been a few months back, but you guys had put the Conjuring House, the house up on the market for sale. Is it still for sale in the market or?
Um, I think technically it might be pending. We might have a solid potential
Ah,
buyer. Yeah. I'm not sure
I
I'm
know
allowed
that.
to talk about it too much, but I'm actually pretty excited because
Well, that's good.
I do believe it'll be really good, and I really think like Corey and I will stay involved, which makes me really happy.
Oh, good.
That's good.
I know when you guys put it up, you caught a little flack about the price and everything that you guys put on. I'm not going to talk about the price, but I looked at that and said it's a business venture. Also, it's not just a house, and
Right.
it's that's what people have to look at and understand. It's like Ashmore Estates. It's a business venture. If I decide to sell it, it's not just a building that you can go out and say it's just an
Right.
empty old building. No, there's a lot of potential from income coming from those locations,
Right.
just
Yeah.
like what you've got there. And if the other people before you didn't recognize that, that's not your fault.
Right.
And
And we
so I
actually didn't set the price. The realtor did, and I was surprised. I was like, but he looked at our finances and the income that comes in, and the biggest thing for us is it has so much potential. There's so much out there that you can do. We're just two people who suck at running a business who can't keep up with it. Like we can't do it with just him and I, and we can't. There's so much that could be done that it's just bigger than us. It's got so much
right.
potential, and we could do day tours and we could do a whole lot more. We're drowning in it as far as like there's so much to be done that we just can't keep up with it anymore. Somebody who has a good vision, who is good with a business, who we were looking for somebody who didn't want to live here too, which makes a big difference to me. Like I don't think it was meant to have somebody live in full time. Like I don't think it's meant to be a house to live in and a house to share with people. I think that people bring their own energy as it is, and I just don't think it's a good mixture. I don't think like it's nice to either have a place on the property where you can be separated from it or live close enough to where you can take care of it and take care of the group. So like we're just looking for someone who can take care of it like it needs to be taken care of.
I think
Yeah.
that's one thing, like with Johnny Houser at Veluska has that. He's fortunate where the house is separate. He lives in a different house, I think right
Yeah.
next to it. Or I haven't been up there, but like he lives next to it, and but that's a location as well. That if it's a small house, it wouldn't bring a lot of money if it just sold as a location in Veluska. But since it is the Axmurder house, the price is going to change. It's going to go up quite a bit.
Right.
Because it's a
Right.
business. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
but nope, I don't blame you at all. I think if you can, get the right price for it, and then if you guys can stay there and do what you want to do there, then that's even better yet.
Yeah. Because my biggest thing, it wasn't about the money. We've turned down, in the first week that we had it on the market, we actually had to pull it off and put it as, I think I don't remember how he worded it, but it was, I think it might have been pending, but still taking offers. We had to slow it down because there were so many offers coming in that we just couldn't weed through everything. And we turned down cash offers because people, to me, it's not about the money. It's about the property. It's about sharing it with people like we wanted to start with, and it's about taking care of it like it should be. I don't want someone who wants the property and is going to tear it down and put in 17 small modular homes so that they can rent all out 17 of them and say that it's Conjuring land. Like it's all about what their intentions are. And that was a big thing for me. And these cash offers that were for like one was 2 million, but they wanted the house closed down and they want it emptied out and they wouldn't tell us who they were. And they wanted to have the land surveyed like within the 2 days. And I'm just like, you can't not tell me who you are and what your intentions are and throw cash around like it's just going to be, I don't know. I think people just don't realize, well, I'm sure we do. People are just crazy. People don't realize how crazy people are. And it isn't about the money. It's more about someone who's willing to love the property and take care of it like it needs to be. Don't like, I don't know.
That offer was probably from somebody that you said you would not sell it to.
I'm wondering. It very well could have been. It very well could have been. Yeah, because
Yep.
somebody else had told us that they heard, and I'm sure it's just a rumor, but somebody else had told us that they heard he wanted to buy it and break half of it up, and he wanted to buy it, but get it out in. LA. Like he was gonna,
Vegas.
yeah, like he was gonna move the house itself out there. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's just weird. That's not happening.
Yeah, I've kind of said the same thing. When Vince Churchill did a book on Ashmore, he asked me, he said, if I was interested in selling the property. And I said, at some point in time, I probably will be. And he asked me, he shot out different numbers. He's like, would you sell it for this? I'm like, no. He said, would you sell it for, for $250,000? And I said, probably not. And he said, would you sell it for $500,000? I said, I would probably have to take an interest in that. And then I said, but it has to be the right person. And he said,
Right.
so 1 million. I'm like, when you get up to certain numbers, you got to sit there and say, man, it's just hard to walk away. And if you're doing the right thing for family and everything else, but it's a property you just hate to see go in the wrong hands and something happened to it.
That's the
So
biggest thing. Like, I mean, I know, like, Corey more so than me struggled when the cash offers came in. He's just like, this is a lot of money. And I'm like, take the money aside though. It's not about that. If in the long run their intentions are bad, it's going to be bad for everybody. Like it's if you've got somebody who's coming in with bad intentions, the house will never be the same again. Whether you move it, whether you keep it there, whether you put something else on it, the spirits are going to be mad. It'll be bad for everybody. You know what I mean? It's almost like taking away from the paranormal community to do something like that. It's a big thing to me for whoever we sell it to. It really is.
no, in fact, when Rhodes Hotel, when we worked out the deal to buy that, she actually turned down an offer for more money than what I had offered to pay for it.
Yeah.
And she said she didn't want to sell it to the people that made the offer to her because she didn't feel comfortable with selling to them. But she said, I feel comfortable selling to you because I know what you want to do with it.
Right.
And I
It
know
makes
that
a big difference. It really
yeah,
does.
Yeah.
it makes you feel good if you sell it to somebody that
Mhm.
you feel is going to do, right by the property.
Yeah, it's almost like my baby that I'm handing off to somebody that I want to be able to do good. If my heart tells me that there's even a chance, I mean, you never know. You could sell it to someone and they could change. They could totally get the keys and do something completely different.
Yeah.
I understand that. But if I feel like I'm doing the right thing, if I'm knowing, like if I'm going into a situation knowing it's going to be wrong, then that's worse than taking my chance on somebody who could be lying to me.
I mean, you get attached to these places. I mean, it's like, it's not just the fact that, it's haunted, or if it's a business and you're selling food out of it, whatever, you know what I mean? For whatever the reason, over time, you get attached to these places. Yeah. So, I mean, you do want to see someone take over that's going to take care of it and care for it the way that you do.
Right. I'm excited for the future of it. Like I
Mhm.
have it tattooed on my thigh. Like there's no doubt that for anybody that knows me how much I love this property. So I mean, I'm excited to watch it grow.
So what's new for you guys in 2022? Anything?
We really don't have anything big planned. Probably starting the day tours again. That'll probably come next month, and we'll probably maybe just do weekends only instead of 7 days a week. But nothing really big planned. Last year we did the world's largest ghost hunt. We did the live stream. I feel like this past year we had a lot of little stuff that was really exciting planned. 2022 we have nothing big.
Which sometimes can be kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another reason why too, like I didn't book 7 days a week, because when things come up, like, and we want to do an event or go to an event, I can't already be booked up 7 days a week, because then I wouldn't have any time for it.
Do you have other people there that help you out with things like that? If you want to do some type of event or something?
We have, like, my daughter, she comes down a lot and she'll help us out. And we have a lot of local people that are willing to help. My biggest thing is, like, because it's our house and not like a commercial property,
Right.
it always feels different to like we don't have employees. So, I can have Madison help us out and feel okay. But yeah, that's like another thing that's been really hard for us. It's not a commercial property. We have a mortgage on the house, and it's not like, I feel like I can't hire employees to help us out full time because it's not like it should be.
Sure. So if Mike, I was gonna say if Mike quits his coughing here, I was gonna see if he wanted to ask his question he hasn't asked for about a month. If he remembers what it was.
I haven't asked. I forgot all about it because I haven't had the opportunity to ask it. So yeah, every guest that comes on, I always ask them, like, if you had any location in the world that you could investigate, where would you go?
I would either go to Dracula's castle because I think that would be really cool, or Corey's gonna kill me for forgetting the name of this. What's the island that's basically made out of human ashes?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of this.
Yeah, good choices.
I can't think of the name of it, but Dracula's castle I think would be cool.
That would be a really cool one. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Where would you guys go?
Oh man, I have a number of places. Robin, you go ahead.
I think it'd be kind of fun to maybe to go to Alcatraz just because it's something, I've been to a lot of other prisons, so let's try that one and see what it's like.
Yeah.
Same. That's one of the ones on the top of my list too. That would be cool.
Skull
Lizzie
Island.
Borden House would be cool. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think Skull Island is probably the place you're talking about.
Yeah. Is there another name for it? Corey's gonna be so mad at me.
Is it Dead Man's Island? I actually Googled it trying to find it real quick for you. But...
It's somewhere overseas. I know Exploring with Josh was there, which Corey was so jealous about.
I can't even think.
Yeah, Josh was at Skull Island.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's it or not, but it might be.
Maybe Corey just calls it something else. There was.
I remember talking to you at Sleepless Unrest that you said your daughter had a TikTok deal and it's like had 1 million followers or something like that. And...
Yeah, I think I think she had just hit her 1 million that weekend we were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It was
a
big deal for her.
We started one at Ashmore, but I don't do anything with it. And one of the other girls that's supposed to do something with it hasn't done a lot with it that I know of. So she was on here earlier. I'm not sure if she still is or not. So she'll probably give me all kinds of crap tomorrow if she hears it.
I see things pop up time to time.
Yeah. That's cool.
So, well, I appreciate you coming on with us tonight and talk about the Conjuring House, and hopefully things go well for you guys next year, and you get everything worked out with your possibly sale of the property and getting to stay there and all. So that'll be great.
Yeah, it should be good. If it all works out, it should be great. Pavalia Island, that's where it is.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, that's where it is.
Ashley's one of the people that helped me out at Ashmore a lot. So
good job, Ashley.
Yeah, she sent me a message. So it's like, if you go to Conjuring House, you got to take me with you. It's like, it's not in the immediate future. I'm kind of busy, but you never know.
That's awesome.
Try to get out.
I know people are always asking me, do you ever switch locations with other people that have like haunted locations? Like they come to your place and then you go to their place, and I'm just like, yeah, it would be fun.
Corey's been to Ashmore.
Yes, I haven't though.
Yeah, well then you just need to come on out.
I know.
And I'm like 2.5 hours from that.
So yeah, he's just a little bit northeast of us, but
that's not bad. That's not too bad of a drive.
Yeah, in fact, Corey was out there, and I think with a couple of the guys, I forget. Let's see, who was he with that night? I forget. I think there was a couple of guys and a couple of girls out there that night as well. So
I think John and maybe his cousin KJ, and then was it Celine? I don't remember.
Yeah, there was a couple different ones out there, and so it was fun. In fact, I brought a couple of Frank's boxes out that night that they use and all. So
cool. Yeah, he likes the Frank's box.
Yep. Yeah, I got a couple of those. So we took them out there and used them.
That's awesome. Yeah, don't you have am I wrong to say 16? Don't you have a ton?
There's probably a few more than that. So,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's 20 or something like that, 22 of them, something like that area. But cool. Yeah, we got a bunch of them.
That's awesome.
I just collect them. That's kind of one of those reasons why I've kind of quit doing the investigations here, because I got to sit in there and it's like you kind of worry about stuff like that just walking out.
We started letting people use our equipment and stopped when we got a lot of stuff get broken. I don't think anyone ever did it on purpose, but it's hard to it's hard to let people use your stuff, and it doesn't always come back in the same condition.
And stuff that you let them use usually isn't the cheap stuff either. I mean, it's not like it's a $60 K2 meter or something, but
right.
So I've actually am buying some equipment just to use at Ashmore for people, but it's tough because you just don't want to. You don't want to give them a $1,000 camera and say, yeah, you can use this and go out and here use my SLS. It's $1,200. It's if you break it, don't worry about it. I'll just get another one for Bill.
Right. Just try this Ovilus out that you can't find anywhere. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
But, well, we'll let you get back to your evening there. I know it's kind of getting late in the East Coast. It's like 9 o'clock here, so it's 10 o'clock there. And tell Corey we missed him. So sorry he wasn't around.
Yeah. And thanks for being on with us.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me on. Thanks.
So I appreciate it. And if anybody, in fact, I think I've got it. Let me see here. If anybody's looking to do anything Conjuring, you can go to their website or Facebook. I think this is the only, you don't have a Conjuring House Facebook page, do you?
No, there is one out there, but it's not ours. And I don't know who, I don't know how to get them to take it down. So I see people post stuff in there, but it's not ours. Yeah,
yours is the farm on Round Top Road, isn't it? That's what I thought. Yep. So, so check that out. The farm on Round Top Road, or the conjuringhouse.com. So, And, but it'd be interesting to see what you guys are doing and how things go for you this year. So,
well, thank you guys. Thank you.
Good luck with things.
Thanks.
And, again, thanks for coming on. And anything, like I sent you a message on, anything pops up, you guys have any questions about anything, just always feel free to reach out to me and talk to me about, bouncing ideas off of something. You never know. You might need something to, it's like, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. Let's ask somebody else, see what they think.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Because anybody that knows me knows that if I think it's a terrible idea, I'll tell you. And,
I appreciate
the guy right there in the middle can tell you that I've told him about it. This is some of the dumbest idea you've ever had. So
well, sometimes that honesty is what you need. There's people out there that will let you just take a chance without.
Or they want to agree with you because they want to make you feel good.
Yes, true. They don't want to hurt your feelings.
It backfires on you. Like, God, I wish they told me not to do that. And you're like, I didn't really think you should, but I didn't want to tell you not to.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, I've never had that problem. So.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, okay. Good night, Jennifer. And
bye,
tell Corey we said hi. We missed him.
See you.
Hopefully we'll catch up with him later.
Bye, guys.
Bye, night.
See you.
So it's fun talking to her and hearing about the Conjuring House. Hopefully things work out for her and that she can get things all put together and for that new one. So next week we got kind of a newcomer to the Paranormal Talking.
Yes.
And some people may not know his name, may not know who he is, but
who's that guy?
Yeah. So looking forward to talking to Jason. And of course we talked to him at DeadCon and a little bit. And then I think your sister talked to him out there in
in Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah. And which that was another fiasco of a weekend, and I understand. So I was talking to somebody today and asked them some questions about that, if they've been reimbursed for some of their expenses yet that they had, and they had not, and which didn't surprise me. But so hopefully that all gets taken care of. We'll see. Fortunately, it's not my problem, but I feel sorry for the people that were involved out there, and everything's
hopefully everything works out and gets straightened out.
So we'll see. I know, but you never know. I mean, those things are always kind of stink when that it happens, and hopefully it doesn't happen anymore. For 2022. So
no doubt.
But we'll be back here next week with Jason, and you're sounding like you're feeling better, so hopefully you'll be able to make it to it with us as well.
The occasional coughs here and there, but I'm getting better. They told me, like, when I went to the doctor, he's like, whatever's going on, this antibiotic will clear it up no matter what it is. And I'm like, all right. And it took a while, because remember, I told you it gave me like 10 days, and I just took the 10th day a couple of days ago. But remember, I was like at day 6 or 7. I was like, I'm still not feeling it.
Yeah.
But when it kind of started hitting, it started hitting. It's my voice is coming back, and now the coughing is not so bad. And so, yeah, hopefully by next week, crossing my fingers, be completely back to normal.
Oh, if there is a normal. So,
well, yeah, as normal as it can be, I guess. Yeah.
Hey. Well, going to get out of here for the evening, and
yep.
And thanks for joining us tonight. And if you just kind of got in late, you can catch this on the replay here. We'll have it on Ashmore Estates, Rhodes Hotel, or right here on the Paranormal Chat Network. So those Facebook pages is when they'll all be on. So good night, everybody. Have a good evening.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep. Take care.
My name is Mike, and I'm the founder of the Lost Limbs Foundation. The Lost Limbs Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides assistance to amputee children in need of prosthetics. I started the charity after my own struggles after my leg being amputated just above the knee. Prosthetics cost thousands of dollars, and the average lifespan is 5 to 7 years on a prosthetic. Kids are constantly growing, so they'll go through multiple prosthetics throughout their life. This is the prosthetic leg that I use, and the cost was about $70,000. The Rhodes Hotel is in Atlanta, Indiana, and is owned and operated by the Lost Limbs Foundation. We are currently doing photo shoots, ghost hunts, and special events to help raise money for the charity. For more information, you can go to lostlimbsfoundation.org. With your help, we can help these kids one step at a time.